So you've just got to go out and network. That is terrifying when you've never done it before.
I ended up not getting on. I was just like, oh, I've got these emails I need to do instead. But now I love networking.
Yes. How do you find such good people? I'm quite picky. I like to think I'm a good judge of character. You know, when I meet someone, I know if we have that instant connection. I always like to think maybe I've got a bit of a sort of knack for just finding good people. I've always got to go with the gut. I want to come off a call and say, yes, oh God, I really, really want to work with them. They are amazing. It's that collaboration over competition, isn't it? I would never not support anyone if they need a bit of advice.
So I'm Alex Ward. I am a messaging expert. I'm a keynote speaker and the founder of Core Story. And I work with leaders and brands to help them speak with guts, heart, and real clarity. And essentially that's what this podcast is all about. It's an extension of that. Hello and welcome to Naked at the Top. Today's guest is someone who leads with heart, precision, and absolutely no pretense. After 25 years working inside law firms across the UK and Asia, she has built a VA business that's just for the legal world. But what sets her apart isn't just systems, it's the standards. She's the kind of person who mentors others to outgrow her, organises posh Christmas dinners for her team, and somehow keeps it all together, even when the trains are flooded, the flights are cancelled, and her passport betrays her. We're going to get into all of it and more on the podcast. Kellie, welcome to Naked at the Top.
Oh, thank you. And now I'm thinking, who has leaked that information? That might travel chaos yet. Yeah, that's me.
So, well, before we get into business, I just talked about the travel mishaps, and I spoke to a few people ahead of this interview, Kellie, and they've all told me lots of different travel mishaps. It's not just one or two. There's been missed flights, there's been trains flooded, there's been no parking in London. What's been the biggest mishap for you, and how did you handle it? I'm intrigued.
So I think probably the biggest one for me was a few years ago when me and my husband were going to France. So I've travelled all around Asia. I've done loads of travelling, but I've still not been to France. I will get there one day. So yeah, we were going over for a wedding. Our friends were already there at the villa, sat around the pool, and we were like so excited as we hadn't been on a holiday together, just us two for like quite a few years since having our dog. And it was the time where all the flights were being cancelled due to the baggage shortage of people. And we were in the queue, so excited. And then everyone started walking out of the queue and we're like, what's going on? And they were like, all the flights have been cancelled. And oh, like, honestly, I've never been so annoyed and sad. Oh, it was awful. And that was it. It was the Friday. We were only going Friday to Monday. So we can really get another flight. The wedding was on the Saturday. So yeah, literally got back to the van, and my mum was in dog sitting, so we just went to Castle Combe for the weekend, which is where Graham proposed to me, and we spent my 30th there and his 40th. So it's a special place. So we went there instead. But yeah, that's probably been the worst one.
Yeah. So you made a bit of a weekend of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big disappointment when you've got something planned. Like how do you handle that? Do you have a little cry, or what do you do?
I'm not like, I'd say I'm quite a calm, chilled person. So I'm like, well, you can't change it. It is what it is. So you've just got to deal with it and just make the most of, a bad situation, I guess.
Yeah. Fantastic. And it's, I assume that's kind of your approach to your business as well.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, I like to have a positive outlook on everything I do. So, in business, we all get situations where something bad happens, or you get an email, or, you've sent something wrong and the client's maybe a little bit angry and you're like, oh no, but it's just how you deal with that, isn't it? How, so I'm quite a calm person. I don't go too crazy about it. I've got a really good network around me, a really good community. So, I might go out to them to say, look, this has happened. Can you help me just reply to this email, or I need to book a call with this client and discuss what's happened. So yeah, I think like, having a good network and a good community around you really helps in business.
I agree. And I think it's so important to be able to ask for help and reach out rather than to try to do everything yourself, you know?
Oh God, absolutely. Like my husband, I know you speak to him, but he's like amazing with that. He's such a good listener. And he always gives like the most amazing advice. So he is definitely my like sounding board when I need some advice. Yeah, I've rung him up in tears many a times. Just I think in the early days of starting a business when it's really hard to get clients and you feel like you're going to fail and it's not going the way you want it to. And I've, rung him up in tears. And he's like, don't be so hard on yourself. You've got to give it time. And I'm like, yeah. So he's definitely been a great help.
Oh, he sounds like he's been speaking to my husband. That's very similar wording that my husband will often tell to me, like, give it time, be patient, it's not gonna all happen at once. So very wise
Absolutely.
words.
Yeah. And I think that's very, very true for business. We all like have this idea we're going to set up a business and then you see everyone else doing really well. And then you're like, setting up and you want like loads of clients and a big community. And, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes a long time to build that. I'm 7 years into my business now and it's just where I want it now is probably where I wanted it on like, so on like week one, but that doesn't happen. It takes time to grow.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about your business? Like what's your business called? It's obviously been around for 7 years, and what do you do? Do you want to give us a bit of a
So
rundown?
I wasn't very imaginative with my business name. It's Kellie Simpson Legal. So I really struggled with a name at the start, and I was just like, oh, do you know what? I'm just going to give it my name because I was Kellie's virtual assistant at the start, and then when I was probably 2 years in, I was just getting busier and busier. I took on my first associate, and then it just kind of went from there. I've got a team. They kind of come in, a few have sort of come and a few more have come in. I think I'm around 15 associates now. So when I say associates, there's like freelance, virtual, legal PAs that work with me and with our clients. So yeah, we predominantly offer legal PA support. Like I said, well, you said at the beginning, I've been in the industry now for 25 years. So no lawyers inside out. And all of my team, they're all from law firm backgrounds. So we really understand their pain points and what sort of support they need. And yeah, I love it. And I just love the flexibility of being at home. And I just love all the people I've met on my journey. There's some amazing businesswomen out there and businessmen, but I just love the female community I've got. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah. And what sparked you? Because you said you worked in law firms for 25 years. What was the spark for you to go out on your own and set up your
Yeah, so
business?
as I said, we were out in Asia for 4 years. And then when we came back to the UK, we were living in Bristol. I got a job at a law firm as a senior PA. It's an international firm, so it's a lot bigger than I'm used to. I'm used to sort of smaller where you get involved in everything. So I was working for an international firm and on a fixed term contract for a maternity cover for 12 months. I do find the role a little bit boring just because there's so many different departments doing all the things. And my role was quite watered down, although I did enjoy running the team of PAs and managing them. So as the contract was coming near its end, I started looking for other jobs and then virtual assistants popped up. And I was like, oh, what's a virtual assistant? Because back then, 2018, it was quite a new concept. Not many people were doing it. Obviously, this is pre-COVID. And yeah, I just started reading up. I was looking at blogs. And I mean, obviously back then there weren't as many VAs around. So there wasn't as much content out there. Now you've got VA trainers, mentors, training materials. There's just so much. There's lots of VAs out there now. But yeah, I just knew I really, really wanted a new challenge, something to get my teeth into. And I also really like the idea of working from home because we wanted to get a dog. So yeah, that was it really. The seed was planted, and the more I thought about it, the more I was like, do you know what? I really fancy like starting my own business. And I'd also met a girl in Bristol who had just started her own recruitment business, and we went out for a coffee. She was telling me about it, and I was just like, oh my god, this is amazing. I want to do this. I really want to like accomplish something, and I just really wanted to make it a success. So that's always been that goal at the start, and yeah, I feel like I've achieved that now. So it's
Sure.
yeah.
Well, Fif 15 associates. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
What was what was harder than you thought in the beginning? Well, because you said you met that recruiter and you were like, "Oh, this sounds amazing." Like what was really hard when you were first starting out?
So getting the clients, because obviously you go from a full-time salary to nothing. And I was so fortunate and grateful that my husband did support me in those early days, because I wasn't really earning much money. And I think that's where a lot of virtual assistants struggle now, because I
Mhm.
talk to a lot of them, oh, I want to come on board as an associate, but I'm still working my role. I can do evenings, I can do a Friday afternoon, but our clients need Monday to Friday support. So just that transition of employment to VA life is quite difficult. So I'm very fortunate I did have that support with my husband. But getting that first client, because nobody knows who you are, what you're doing, you're this brand new person. So you've just got to go out and network. And again, that is terrifying when you've never done it before. I remember my first one, we were living in Wiltshire, and I got to the car park and sat in the car. I was just so nervous and scared about getting out, because you've got to do that. What do you do? And you've got to stand up and do that elevator pitch. And you still don't really know what you do it when you're just starting out, do you? You really find that path as you go, as you grow. So yeah, that was terrifying, but I did it. I knew I had to. So, and again, that's how I've met some of my connections even now. I think back to those early days, and some of those people I've met, that I'm quite good friends with now, were part of that journey at the beginning. So yeah, definitely finding clients and networking, I'd say, are the two hardest parts.
It's funny you say about the networking, because I used to, before I started my business, I used to hate networking.
Yeah.
And I still remember the first networking, it was going to just be an online one. And I was like to my husband, okay, I'm going upstairs, I'm going to do this networking. And it was just online. It was just me in my room. And I was so nervous. I ended up not getting on. I was just like, oh, I've got these emails I need to do instead. But now I love
Yeah,
networking. I
same.
really enjoy going to it. But it's
Same.
just a mindset thing, I think.
Yeah, I just love meeting people, and I love finding out about people, what they do, and if they've traveled, where they live. It's just, yeah, I love it.
Yeah. I think once you get out of that mindset of, "Oh, what am I gonna say? Like, how am I coming across?" And you just focus on the connections that you're making, it becomes a lot more fun. But I think, yeah, when you first start, you're like, "Oh, what am I gonna say? Do I sound silly?" And
Yeah, I
getting
think it's just having that sort of belonging and that purpose and
mm,
identity. Because, like I said, now I'm 7 years in, I know who I am, I know what I'm doing, I know who my client is, I know what my business is, I know what my services are. But at the start, you haven't got a clue what any of that is. So it is really difficult to go out into a room full of people, be like, yeah, I do this, I do that. When you don't really know who you are, you know what I mean? So it is tricky. But
yeah,
yeah, we've all been there as business owners. So
yeah. And so what came more naturally, to you at the start when you were first starting out? What was just came naturally for you?
um, I think actually doing the job. So, my first client, so we were living in Melbourne at the time.
Okay.
And so yeah, I left my job in the October. Graham got a job out in Melbourne. So then we moved out there in the January. Um, I got my first client, which was, when was that? Probably in the February, March. She was a legal consultant. So straight away, I know she's sending me a document to do. I know exactly what I was doing. I've got all this
Mm,
experience. So that was the easy part for me, was actually doing the work, just because I really understand the legal, industry. So that was the easiest part. And even now, I've got a call later on today with a new lawyer looking for some help.
mhm.
I know I can get on that call, talk his language. I understand his world, and it's just really easy. Put I don't know, put a finance person in, and I'm like, because I've never worked in finance, so I don't really understand. But a lawyer, absolutely, I could talk to lawyers all day. So
Yeah. So I suppose that's where it really comes in with niching down and,
absolutely,
ni
yeah.
having that niche. Do you think that's really helped you to grow, as well, the fact that you've niched in a specific industry?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And coming back to the start of the journey, I went out there thinking I was going to help every business owner, because, you don't want to alienate yourself, because you're looking for clients and you feel like, if I go too small, I'm narrowing that, opportunity. Um, and ironically, I did get a lawyer for my first client. And then my second client was a bigger client that they were sort of like a business support, they need like training. And then COVID happened. And then I think sort of since COVID, more lawyers have started leaving firms and setting up their own virtual firms. Everything's cloud-based now, so it's a lot easier for lawyers to just work from home. And that's where it just took off. And I was like, yeah, this is where I should be. I need to start niche down. And then I rebranded. So everything's just targeted to lawyers now. I mean, we do have a few non-lawyer clients. I think people are attracted to us because we work in law and we work with a lot of processes and procedures, and we're quite good at putting like SOP guides together and sort of like user guides. So I think people like that. I think we've got a different maybe mindset to just maybe sort of a standard PA who's doing travel or diary management. We kind of get a bit more stuck into the process side of things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's appealing to those types of firms. Yeah, yeah. So you've also grown this team of like 15, and it's all remote. And when I spoke to Nicola, who's in one of your team members in France, she said that you trusted in her very early on, and you just don't micromanage. How do you find the right people for the team whereby you can trust them and you don't need to micromanage? Do you have a way that you go about recruitment?
Yeah. Oh, I love Nicola's my first associate. We've become really good friends, actually. And you know what? People say that to me all the time. How do you find such good people? And I'm like, I am quite picky. I don't know. I feel like I'd like to think I'm a quite a good judge of character. When I meet someone, I know if we have that like, instant connection with someone. I'll get a CV in, I'll look for a CV, I'll go on LinkedIn, I'll look at their experience. If they've got recommendations, I'll do a bit of stalking, like if they've got an Instagram. And I can kind of tell if they're a nice, if they're a nice person, they've got the experience, I'll have a chat with them, ask them questions. And I just know if I know they're going to be good. I don't know. It's weird, isn't it? I don't know, like, recruiters have obviously got a knack for it, a talent for recruitment. And I always like to think maybe I've got a bit of a sort of knack for just finding good people. And don't get me wrong, I have had a couple of associates that haven't worked out, that weren't right. I don't get it right all the time. But generally, I feel like, yeah, the PAs in my team are all amazing. And I trust them to get on with it. I think in the early days, I might sort of micromanage a little bit, give them a task. I'm checking in all the time, going back to the client. Are you happy? We'll do like a month feedback, 3 months, 6 months. And then it's like, yeah, amazing, brilliant. I kind of can like, let them go a bit more then. So, and like Nicola, she's been with me 4 years now. I know I can give her a client tomorrow and just say, right, off we go. I don't need to really do too much. I trust her. She knows what she's doing. And I've got a few ladies like that in my team. So
yeah. Yeah, amazing. So it's really like, you go on your intuition, I imagine, a little bit more, and kind of looking into their energy and how you feel about them. I think that's, just as important as experience too.
Yeah, energy is a huge one. When you can just see someone's really passionate about what they do. Well, I usually say, what's your availability? And they'll be like, I'm around Monday to Friday. And if a client needs me, like, they can WhatsApp me, just that in itself, I know they're going to be available and be a good support. If I've spoken to someone, they're like, I'm only around Monday till lunch, and then I don't work afternoons. I don't like the client to WhatsApp me. I'm just like, just don't think this is going to work, because clients like to know that their PA's there on the end of the phone. We're there to support them at the end of the day. So that service, I like to think, is that sort of 5-star service. So yeah, if your PA's never answering emails and they're not around most of the time, no, it's not going to work, unfortunately.
No, you got to have that flexibility, and customer service is so important. So yeah. So obviously you're a very organized person, being the business that you're in, and I've heard that you organized the Christmas party really well. I think Nicola told me, was it, within 6 months from doing your food order, you found out what you ordered for food, and your friend Amanda said you organized her hen party.
Yeah, not a bit organized.
So where does that come from? Have you grown up just being organized, or where did that come from? And I'm asking as a pretty disorganized person.
Do you know what? I don't actually know what. Probably would be one for my mum to answer. But if I think back to my childhood, I used to love writing out all the recipes for my mum. So I would get magazines and cut recipes out. And she's still got the cookbook to this day with all my handwriting in. I used to just copy recipes and write them all out for her. So she's still got them in a book. And my mum used to work in an office like when she was younger. So I used to go on a typewriter and type things. I always used to keep my room tidy. So yeah,
You
I
sound like the
guess
dream child.
yeah, just from sort of a young age, I guess. And I've always been the family organizer. I mean, there's 10 of us going to Crete next year for my dad's 70th. So I'm organized. Well, it's all booked, all done, flights, the villa. So that's all sorted.
Wow. Wow.
And my husband's 50 in a couple of years, and I'm already like know what I'm going to do. I've been saving, so I do like to have things all planned.
Yeah. Yeah. What happens if you're part of something and someone else is organizing it?
Yeah, I
Do
mean
you
that's
like you want to get involved?
do you know what? Sometimes it's actually quite nice to not get
Yeah.
involved. So my best friend Charlie, she's also an organizer. We love a list. We're all of us schoolgirls are going away in September, but you know Charlie's organised all that, and I haven't had to do anything, so it's been actually quite nice. So yeah, it's quite nice to take a back seat sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, nice. Have you ever organized anything where it's just gone awry? It's not gone to plan?
Maybe just my own travel. To be honest, I would say organising myself to get out the door is probably my biggest thing, and that's why I missed the train last time. And the weather didn't help because it's like monsoon, so I had to drive really slow. But I should have left a bit earlier. But just trying to get the dog sorted, and and then I'm like, oh, where's this in my bag? And I faff about, so I am a bit. Yeah, I'm a bit of a disorganized person when I have to go somewhere and get out the door on time.
Yeah, yeah. Can you for the listeners, can you tell us about that? What you were just referencing there with the monsoon and the driving? What happened?
Yeah, so I was going to Bristol for an event. I was actually meeting my friend for lunch, and then I had an event in the evening. So I was getting the train. Mum got here because she was dog sitting, had everything ready, and it was absolutely pouring. I mean, it was like a monsoon. So I was like, oh God, I'd done all my hair. Had everything packed, got everything in the car. And as I was driving, I kind of left myself an hour and a half because it usually takes about an hour and 10 minutes to get to the station. But yeah, just driving there, it was absolutely torrential. And there's lots of lorries, it's a spray. So I was, what is usually like a sort of 70 mile an hour, I was driving 40. So yeah, by the time I got parked up, because there was parking this time, I got out and I was trying to run to the station. I dropped my coat. It was wet. I had my umbrella, my suitcase, my knee. I've got a bad knee, so I couldn't run as fast as I normally would. And by the time I actually got into the station, the train was pulling away. So I was like, no, not again. But luckily, Bristol's only a 2-hour drive, so I just drove and parked at my friend's house, which I probably could have done that anyway. But it's nice to just sit on the train and just get straight into the centre of Bristol, So yeah. So hopefully that's the last travel chaos.
Did you make it in time?
Yeah, I drove up and then got the bus in, and I think I was maybe 15 minutes late. And this was Amanda who we spoke to. I met her in Working Mamas. I was actually there before her.
So we've actually got something in common, Kelly. So we both like to lift weights. But by the looks of your the pictures that you share, you're a bit ahead of me because I certainly can't do a pull up without a band.
Yeah.
But when I asked your husband Graham, how you just unwind, he actually said it's the gym. You work out nearly every day. So like, how long have you been into it, and what's your drive? Because I can see I've connected with you on LinkedIn. I can see you have all the photos and things. So what's your drive, and what does it do for you?
Oh, do you know what? I just love going to the gym. It's funny because some people absolutely hate it, but that's, everyone's got their thing. Some people like open water swimming, some people like running, some people just like chilling and doing yoga. That is not for me. And I just love going to the gym and lifting weights. I just love that feeling of being like just feeling strong, not just like physically, but just mentally. And I think because I work at home, going to the gym is just getting me out of the house as well. And I've got some friends up there. It's just like, I just love it. And I've been going to the gym ever since I can remember, ever since I started working, I'd go and do like half an hour on the cross trainer and think that was like amazing. Do you know what I mean? So I started working with a coach just over 2 years ago because I'm one of these people. I'll be going through Instagram, I'll be going from Pinterest and go, wow, her body looks amazing. Like, look at her legs. She's so like toned. Her physique is incredible. I'm going to do that. So I take some before pictures and then I would never continue and get to that end result. So I thought, right, I'm going to work with a coach and see what I can do. So I'm now, 2 years later, I'm about to do my third photo shoot at the end of August. And, every time you're just wanting to improve and improve. So I'm 6 weeks out now. So no alcohol, pretty much just drinking water, tracking all my food, 14,000 steps a day, 4 strength training sessions. But I love the process. I'm very much a routine person. I start the routine, 5 o'clock start, getting up to the gym, doing my workout. I just feel amazing when I get home and I'm just ready for the day. So without the gym, like we went up to Scotland, not last week, the week before. So we're up there for 4 days. So there was no gym. I didn't get my steps in because the weather was rubbish. We were drinking alcohol. I was eating not the best, like not my usual, going out for dinners. And then we went out in Bristol for the day on the Saturday when we flew back, drinking again. Honestly, it took me all of last week to get over that. I got there in the end, but I was just waking up late. I was getting up at 8. I was going to the gym later. I was really craving sugar because I'd been eating sweets, just all of that. Whereas now I've had a dry weekend, no drinking, getting back on track with my food. And I feel so much better. So I just like to feel good. Yeah.
Yeah. And it has a knock-on effect, doesn't it? If you don't do the exercise and then you start eating a little bit not as well, and it does have a knock-on effect. And I mean, I don't know about you, but the days that I do 5 a.m. in the morning as well, and the days that I don't go to the gym and I just say, oh, I need a bit more sleep, are actually the days I'm more unproductive.
Absolutely.
Is that for you?
Yeah, but we all need our rest, don't we? And I do 4 gym days a week, so I do have rest days as well. But then I'm still doing my steps. Like, I'll get on I've got a walking pad, which is like a little mini treadmill to get my steps in, or I'll go out for walks. We live in Devon and it's beautiful here. But I know what you mean. It doesn't sort of give you that. I don't know. It's like dopamine hit, isn't it, when you go to the gym?
Yeah. And do you find like, if you've had a stressful day or things with business, does exercise help you?
Yeah, if I've had sort of stressful, I don't feel like I really have too many stressful days, which is actually quite nice. Yeah, it's quite good. I'm not really a stressed person. But I would probably just go out for a dog walk or something. We've got, we live right on the estuaries. We've got the Targa Trail, which is a sort of cycle trail. So I'll go for a walk down there. I'm just going to sit out in the garden. I find it quite easy to unwind.
Going back to the business, when I spoke to Graham, he was telling me even in the early days, you were very headstrong on the types of client that you wanted to work with. Because in the early days, sometimes you'll just work with any client because you need the business. But you said you were pretty clear on the types of businesses that you wanted to work with. What kind of gave you that like confidence and that conviction to be like, yep, no, this is the type of business I want to work with?
Yeah, do you know what? I would pop when you said that, I thought, I think it was when I started working with Bill at 7 Legal. So me and Bill we're quite similar in age. He lives in London. He's very entrepreneurial and just very inspirational. And we connected straight away. I think I connected with him on LinkedIn and I had a message in my inbox. Oh, like, can we have a chat? I need help with client onboarding. And it was literally contract signed the next day. And we still work together now. So we've been working together 5 years. And he was just the ideal client, the sort of person I want to work with, just so laid back, but really, really professional. He's got an amazing network. He's got an amazing business. All of his consultant lawyers are just great. And I always say they're like my my work colleagues. So that's the way I always make time to go up to London to see them if there's an event or like, summer party. He always gets everyone together. Really nice guy. And I always feel like that's the sort of person I want to work with. And he's kind of like tech. He works with a lot of tech startups. So I just really enjoy the work as well. And I'd always go above and beyond. If he never really contacts me on a weekend. There's been a couple of Saturdays, but I drop things to help him because he's just such a good client. He always pays his invoices on time, never like scrutinizes the time report. He's just a great client to have, generous. And yeah, so I think he was that sort of, ideal client. And from there on, I sort of think, that's the sort of person I want to work with.
Yeah. So have you turned business away because you're like, no, that we're not a right fit? Or you feel comfortable doing that?
I think the way we target our sort of services and the support is that we're tailored to the sort of smaller market. So medium to larger firms typically do have PA support in the firm. It's the sort of smaller, they're just getting started. They need that sort of support. They don't have the funds to fund a part-time or a full-time PA. So having the virtual PA support, our minimum retainer is 10 hours a month. So that's quite a nice few hours for a firm that, don't have the funds to, spend loads of money, but just need that support. So I think because that messaging is out there, that's the type that we attract. So there have been a couple of clients that I've got in, and I don't know, you just know when you chat to someone that if there's not that connection, then you probably won't hear from them again. And to be honest, it doesn't happen that often. I feel like I do get on with most people, but there was one law firm, I don't know, maybe 4 years ago, and actually Amanda was working with me as an associate at the time. We spoke to the lady partner and she was lovely. I was like, yeah, this all sounds great. So we onboarded them. And then the male partner came onto a call and he was so demanding. He was really like shitty if things weren't turned around by the end of the day. His expectations were just ridiculous. And me and Amanda were just like, I don't think this is going to work. And that's when I had to have one of those sort of difficult conversations. Spoke to my mum, spoke to Gray. I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do. I was so stressed about it. And I was like, I've got to have a Zoom call with them. So I set the Zoom call up. And I just had to sort of say, look, I'm terminating the contract. I don't think we're the right fit for you. You need this. So so it doesn't always work out. And like I said, I feel like I know if a client's not going to be a good fit for me. So then I would say, you just get those red flags, don't you? And that gut feeling is always right. You've always got to go with the gut.
Or with your gut, yeah.
I want to come off a call and feel like, yes, oh God, I really, really want to work with them. They are amazing. That's what I get from a sort of discovery call.
Yes. Yeah. And I've had it before as well, where I've been on a call and I've said to my husband, I don't think they're right. And then I've gone into it anyway. And then a few months later, I was like, I knew it, because you instantly know. So what are some typical red flags for you? Obviously, that you demanding. Is there any other kind of red flags where you're just like, no?
Yeah, I think probably like the expectations, and also when they're like, so what are your rates, and then you'll tell them, and they're like, oh. And you'll say, there's a minimum of 10-hour retainer. Are we allowed to roll the hours over? No. And then they're really picky about all of that. And you're like, I've got my own PA. I pay for 10 hours a month and I'm just small business. You're a law firm, they do, surely. And I just feel like if they start quibbling that, you just know they're going to be a nightmare and you're not going to pay their invoices. So yeah, that's probably the red flags. That's probably it really. And if they want help with things that you don't offer, so like call answering, we don't offer call answering because again, you've got to be around Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. So I just say, go to a call answering service. So if they want things that we don't offer, then I'll be like, no, it's not the right fit.
Yeah, usually is the ones that are really like looking at pricing and things that want to pay the bare minimum are usually the most demanding, versus the ones that are like, yep, that's fine. They're actually probably the best clients to work with. They kind of respect the work that you're doing.
Yeah. Some of them do ask like, a million billion questions. But I guess it's for some people, for some business owners, outsourcing is a huge investment for them. They're bringing someone into their business, so they need to make sure that they find the right person. So it's a two-way thing, isn't it? We need to be a right fit for them, because we're going to be seeing confidential information. If they're letting us into their inboxes, finance, all of that sort of stuff. It's a confidential space, so they need to make sure that they trust us. So yeah, it's only right that they do ask lots of questions as well.
Yeah, trust is a big one. It's a big one. So like in regards to your team, you're seen as a mentor. Nicola told me you were nothing but supportive when others decided that they actually want to move on and do their own business. Like when someone's been in your team and they've learned from you and they say, "Oh, actually, I think I could do my own business," like what emotions are going through? What's going through your mind when you hear that?
Yeah, that's always a tricky one in the VA world, because I was the same. So I started out as a VA, and then I was doing associate work for Catherine Gladwin, she's huge in the VA world. She's like a mentor and trainer now. I was her associate, so I worked for free of her clients. But then as I got busier, I knew I wanted to grow my own business. I didn't need to do the associate work anymore, because it's obviously a lower rate than what you would get if you were working direct with a client. So, I left because I had my own work, and here I am. So when I take on associates, it is a really tricky one. And I do, like Nicola is perfect because she's got no desire to grow her own business. She doesn't have a website. She doesn't really market herself on LinkedIn. She doesn't go networking. She's just happy working with me and me getting her the work. So that is the absolute perfect scenario. I did have a few of those ladies, and I'm so grateful for that. But so Cheryl, who was in my team, she was with me early on. She was amazing, and she was just like slipping away because she was getting her own work, and I just knew she was going to go. And I think it was just early this year, the last client. Yeah, so she's got her own business now. She's legal as well, and she's doing amazing. And I am she'll message me, "Oh, I really need a bit of advice." And I will always give her advice, because I will never just be like, "Oh, right, you've got your own business now, bye." They're still my friends. I would still support them. I still want them to be a success as well. We're all in this together. Like, it's that collaboration over competition, isn't it? Saying,
Yeah.
I never ever would not support anyone if they need a bit of advice. So yeah.
Yeah.
So coming back to when I take associates on, I will do a bit of homework. And if they've got a really snazzy website, and they have got clients and they maybe only have 10 hours free, then I'm like, well, there's no point, because you're probably just going to become full capacity yourself. So I wouldn't take on. So it's definitely what their circumstances are. I tend to help probably maybe the early stages if they're just starting out, because it's nice to give people a chance. Catherine gave me a chance at the beginning, and if it wasn't for Catherine, would I have got where I was now? I learned so much from her and working with her clients, and I like to give back and think I can help VAs build their business as well. And if I can be that sort of stepping stone for that, then that's great.
Yeah, it's a beautiful outlook, and like we said, collaboration over competition. I often say that I'll work with people in my space to be able to give a better service, and I think there's enough work out there for everyone.
Oh God, absolutely.
Being able to support each other is it's so important, and it makes you feel better. It makes them feel better. Why not do that?
Yeah, definitely.
So how about team dynamics? I imagine with you being all over the place, you got one in France. I don't know where the others are, but how do you build a team dynamic around a remote business? How does that work?
So we've got Slack channel, which I should start using a bit more, to be honest. And I want to start looking at ways of kind of doing a bit more within the team. Last year I took 6 of us out for afternoon tea in London, which was really nice. Like I say, because everyone is dotted around, it's quite hard to get, if everyone's local, I'll be doing stuff all the time. But so Nicola, she's obviously in France, because we both work with Seven Legal, and there's a summer party on, or a Christmas party. She'll fly back because she's from Bristol, so she'll tie in a trip home with with one of the client parties. So that's really nice. And then because we work with law firms, and law firms, they can produce quite a lot of work, and they like support Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. It's not always feasible to have just one associate in with one client. So I've got a few clients where there's maybe 2 or 3 of the team working with one client. So those, I've got quite a few of the PAs that have just formed these little pockets of friendships. So I've got Karen and Jackie who work really closely with one client, and they've become quite good friends, and they work really closely together. And then Karen works with Leanne with another client, and so it's quite nice. They form these little bonds, and they're all starting to know who specializes in what. So like Jackie's like my document expert, same as Karen. So we kind of, if anyone needs any help, they can put things into Slack, and the others jump on and, give some advice. And I've also sent out like my newsletter, although I have missed the last couple of weeks. I need to get back. This is like, not me. I've just had so much on. But yeah, we've got a newsletter as well that goes around. But I'm definitely looking at other ways to kind of, bring the team together. And I might try and get everyone together for a Christmas event, or maybe another summer event next year. So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you'll be great at organizing it if you do. So it sounds like people are quite comfortable around you. And, I think it was Nicola that said, she's always feels like comfortable to tell you anything that's going on, if it's things in her personal life and whatnot. How important do you think that is in leadership for people to be able to have like real talk with their leaders?
Oh, I think it's like so important because, like I say, Nicola's come to me and a couple of others have come to me, another lady in my team who's going through a real tough time at the moment. But then that makes me understand her situation. If she is away, she's out of the office this afternoon because she's viewing properties, it makes me more understanding of what her circumstances are, and that she might not be able to support tomorrow or Thursday, and can I jump in and man the inbox or whatever. So I think that is, it's just having that understanding and empathy, isn't it? And I want my team to know that I'm not just here as like not their boss, because they're not employed by me, but I'm here as their friend. And, if they want to, if they want some advice, I'm happy to give it. So, it's nice. It's nice. They're all like friends as well as my associates. So
that's lovely. And how do you, on the flip side of that, how do you approach, boundaries, and, making sure that things get done, people could be open with you, but things get done at the same time, and protecting, your time and energy as well?
Yeah, I think
I'm asking because I'm not very good at it.
I think it's just like that open communication, isn't it? So I'll be very much like, they might tell me something and I'll be like, right, okay, so where are we? Like, where do you need support? Let me know when you're off, so then I can get someone else in. Or it's just very much, I need to be on the ball of knowing like what's going on. Are you going on holiday? Because at the end of the day, we need to make sure the support's there for the client. If one of the team is going through a bit of a tough time, it does need to take some time out. I then need to make sure that there's other support in place. Does that answer the question?
Yeah. No. So we're coming towards the end of the episode, Kelly, and what I like to do is do a quick fire round towards the end. So you can either answer, pass, or throw it back to me.
Oh, okay. This sounds interesting.
So who was the last person that you messaged?
Last person that I messaged? Oh God, that would have been last night. And my last look at my phone, we got my phone with me. Do you know what? It's probably Graham, because he was at the gym and I was home, and I was like, what time am I cooking dinner? Because it was him. Because usually in the evenings I'll try and leave my phone somewhere so I'm not on my phone. So it would have been Graham. Yeah, what time are you back for tea? Because he was at the gym, and I was like, I need to quickly get some work finished. That it would have been him. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad your messages are as interesting as mine.
I know.
What's for dinner? Usual one.
Organisation, see, what time am I putting the tea in?
Last thing you asked ChatGPT.
Last time I asked ChatGPT. Do you know what? I don't use it that often. And ironically, I'm actually going to an AI workshop today at 10 o'clock. An AI workshop today and tomorrow, just to learn more about ChatGPT. So I'll pass, because I probably used it about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'll be interested to hear what you learn in the workshop. I did a masterclass a few months ago, and it was game changing. Just to think of all the different things it helps with. It's amazing what you learn. So you'll have to let me know how you go on.
Yeah, and AI is becoming more of a like thing in the legal world, and I feel like I need to start getting a bit more on top of it. So
What's made you laugh out loud this week?
So I was listening to Andy Casey's podcast. So he lives locally to me. We go to the same gym. I'm on his podcast next week, I think. So I thought I better listen to what the flow of the podcast is like. And he had a sex therapist on there. Oh, and I was actually lolling at some of the stuff on there. Just he's quite funny. So I kind of because I sort of know him, but I kind of know what to expect when I go on the podcast. Like he's a bit of a joker. So yeah, so I was laughing out loud yesterday when I was listening to that.
And I know you're a big dog lover. So if your dog could talk, what do you think he'd say about you?
Because she's my baby.
Yes,
Sorry. She's my main baby. She's like, I love you, mummy. You're the best thing ever. Yeah, that's what she'd say. She's the best.
So the last question, I always do it's like a pass it on for all the listeners, to leave them with one piece of advice. And as if someone's really overwhelmed, juggling with a million things on the brain, within their business, what's one small thing that they could do, or one system you swear by, that could help them feel more clear and in control? I'm asking you because you're obviously very organized.
Yeah, I would probably say move away from the laptop or the computer. Just get a pad of paper, move away from the laptop and go and sit in the garden or go for a walk first, just to sort of clear your head. And then just, come back, sit in the garden or just a nice space, get your pad out and just write down everything that's overwhelming you. Just get those thoughts out. I think if you're just overwhelmed and you're just sat continually going through your inbox and you're just going to make the problem worse. I do get overwhelmed sometimes, and I've got my business journal that I started on day one. So that's another little tip, just writing your journey down, just getting your thoughts out really does help. And I love a good to-do list. I've got my diary, so I always write everything in here. But I think it does help to just be in a space that's nice and quiet and there's no technology. Get rid of your phone because you'll end up scrolling on Instagram or something. So yeah, just you a pen and a notebook and your thoughts.
Yeah, fantastic advice. Well, thank you so much, Kellie, for joining me. It was a great conversation.
Yeah, no, it's been really, really, really fun. So thanks. It's worth getting up early for.
And is there anywhere that, if people want to reach out to you, anywhere that you'd like to direct them to?
Yeah, I mean, I find I'm on Instagram quite a lot. So my Instagram handle is Kellie. So I'm KELLIE _Simpson_legal, I think. But so I'm quite chatty on there. That's my main, I'm probably my 100% self on there. Always on stories. And then I'm obviously on LinkedIn as well. So it's my more professional side.
Great. Well, I'll drop it all in the show notes so people can reach out to you.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye.
Bye.